1019 KINK. Independent, Portland.
Dave, hello.
Hello.
How are you?
I'm super well. Yeah, how are you?
I'm great. Thanks for taking the time. I really appreciate it.
Absolute pleasure. Looks like you're back in a real studio.
Yeah, I've been back in the studio the whole time. I tried doing it from my house, and it just was a bit of a technical disaster.
It's tough, isn't it?
It is tough, but I'm the only person in the building. We have a whole floor of an office building, so I'm the only person here, so I feel pretty safe.
That's the dream. You're like sliding down the chairs in the hallway, and
I have snooped through everybody's desk like you would not imagine.
you left some little surprises in there.
And you're obviously in your flat in London, it looks like.
I am, yeah. I'm in my studio. My studio is right beneath me, but I'm kind of mid-session right now and come out to just talk to you. Yeah.
I really appreciate you taking the time. What are you working on, if you're allowed to tell me?
Such a pleasure. Just working on some secret stuff. I can't say. You know what? Everybody will find out in about a week.
Awesome.
Yeah.
The new album is Dreamland. Love the album. And before we go any further, do you prefer to be called Dave, or can I call you Doodlebug?
Doodlebug, gosh, have you been speaking to my mum?
Doing a little research. That was her little nickname. But I also read that somehow, or for some reason, you were called Spike for the first 18 months of your life.
How do you know this?
Like I said, I had tea with your mum.
Yeah, I'm not like that's some insider info. Yeah, I was called Spike.
Was Spike. That your actual name?
Yeah, it kind of was. Yeah, I don't know what happened to Spike. I think basically I was called Algie, and then I was changed to Spike. And I think my grandpa kept intervening and being like, "This kid's going to get bullied at school."
Algie?
Just called him something. Algie, yeah.
Oh my gosh.
And then she was like, "Well, what about Dave?"
That's a long ways from Spike and Algie.
I know. I actually quite like Algie and Spike, but Dave.
Wonder how life would be different for Dave Bayley if you were Spike Bayley. I think you'd be selling like shoes or something.
Do you think I like to think that the Spike Bayley is like a real like hardcore,
there you go.
Bit of a
He's
gangster.
A yeah, forget
maybe
what I
he's
said about shoes.
Got in a bit of trouble, and but maybe around the age of like 50, kind of finds himself when he gets out of prison. And
well, Dave, let's talk about the new
nice
album.
Family.
It's called Dreamland, and you said once releasing a new album is a bit like sending your kid off to school. What do you mean by that?
I just think it's a bit. I don't have kids, so I don't actually know what I'm talking about. No, but I assume it's like you spend like all this time like preparing this child for the world and getting it ready, making sure it's smart and intelligent, and you've done everything that you can, and then it's not in your hands anymore. You like send it to school, it's on its own. It's either gonna get bullied, or it's gonna be like, maybe it's like the jock at school, maybe it's in the really arty kids. I don't know. It finds its place, and it takes a minute.
I think Dreamland is one of the arty kids. It's a very personal album for you, isn't it?
It's really personal. Yeah, I went deep on this one. I went deep into memories. Yeah. Our drummer had a bad accident, and he was in the hospital for a long time. And yeah, we didn't really. He's my best friend. I didn't know if he was going to survive, basically. Oh. So I was just in the hospital, like waiting for news. And we cancelled everything, cancelled all the touring, all the studio sessions we had. Everything was cancelled. So the future looked terrible. So the only place to look was like backwards. And you know what? There's a weird parallel with this COVID situation. Like everyone's future plans are just up in the air, gone.
Yeah.
And everyone seems to be like really into this like nostalgia thing. So there's like this strange. I was in like a kind of bit of a weird lockdown when Joe had his accident, and now back into lockdown.
So it must be very cathartic, but also it's got to be a very vulnerable feeling releasing an album that is so personal.
It is quite vulnerable. You sort of put your neck out, and I don't know. I hope people listen to it with that in mind. Like it is vulnerable. I have a lot more respect for people who write very personal songs now, because I've never really. Sorry, there's a police car going by outside. I've never written anything like super personal before. There's one song on the previous album called Agnes, but I didn't really tell anyone it was a personal song. I kind of hid. Yeah, I hid the truth a little bit just to make sure no one could figure out who this person was in my life. And this time it's just completely raw.
Does it feel odd to release a new album without going on tour to support it?
It's really strange. There's this normal, I don't know, like cycle. You go back into the studio, you start making the album's done, you start touring, you release the album, you keep touring for 2 years, then you do it. It's just again. That cycle feels like it's a very natural cycle, and that is broken. But I was super bummed out about it for a bit. I thought of like, oh God, there's no touring. We'd set up this huge release of the album, all based around touring, all based around live shows, and then gone. But so yeah, I was really bummed out for like 2 weeks, and then basically realized that, this is really exciting. There are no rules. No one's really released an album in a pandemic, so we can kind of do what we want. Let's experiment, see what happens.
I love some of the stuff you guys do on your website. You're known for some really clever outside the box ideas. I love the idea of the dream machine on the website. I found it very relaxing and stimulating at the same time. For folks that haven't experienced it, tell us about Dream Machine on your website.
Have you tried it?
I did try it. There was only 4 other folks in the room at the same time, so we didn't get much layering.
Yeah, you didn't get much traction. We used it to launch a track called It's Also Incredibly Loud, which is a really like slow burning intimate track. It's really just builds layer by layer by layer by layer, and until it's like incredibly loud. And the idea was that people had to go onto this website, and it has facial recognition technology just to see when it can recognize when you close your eyes. And people had to basically all go on and work together and all close their eyes at the same time. And as more people logged on and closed their eyes simultaneously, another layer was added until the whole track was released. And then it popped up on all the listening platforms.
What a great idea. Did you come up with that?
It started as something a lot more simple. It started as like, we just go on to a website and close your eyes, and you kind of, the longer you're there with your eyes closed, the more of like, you just hear different teasers of different songs in the album. We were going to do it like right around the launch of the album, but then my friend Fred was just like, why don't you, I bet we can code it in this certain way. And I was like, let's try it. So it was a total experiment. I think it did work in the end. Everyone worked together and synchronized. There were thousands of people listening, and then it got released.
Glass Animals has a very special event happening Thursday, October 15th, 8 o'clock here on the West Coast of the U.S. It's called Live in the Internet, a one-off visual experience. What can we expect, if you can say anything about it?
I can. Well, that's kind of what we're working out downstairs.
I thought so.
Yeah, so, well, what's happening downstairs? We've got some special guests coming. And I'm not going to say who, but some of my favorite artists and performers, not necessarily musicians. It's all sorts of things. So we're kind of sorting stuff out downstairs in the studio right now, getting ready for that. And what else can you expect? We're gonna have fun with the internet, because normally at a live show, I find 90% of the energy is the crowd. It's a feedback situation. Everyone gets on the same level, and there's like this the togetherness is like, that's what the show is really. It's everyone experiencing something together, and that's not so easy over the internet. So we've kind of tried these ways of finding a little bit of that togetherness during an internet show. It's again another experiment. I think it's going to be really fun. If not, there'll be bits that go wrong because it's a live show. That's what happens.
Well, yeah. Yep.
Yeah, but it's going to look amazing. I've just been working on the visuals. There's these 2 amazing ladies that have been helping us with the visuals. We've got a huge stage production, a biggest stage production ever, I think, for the show. It's going to be really mad.
I'm really looking forward to it. Tickets are on Glass Animals website. I only have a couple more minutes with you. The album's called Dreamland. Have you been having bizarre dreams during the lockdown like most people on the planet?
Absolutely. Yes. Really, really weird dreams. Have you?
Yeah, I have. Not as weird as yours, though. Yours involve oddly colored kitty cats.
Oh, God, you really have. How did you get into my mind?
Because, ladies and gentlemen, Dave Bayley doesn't care for cats, apparently.
You've really gone in. No, I have a problem. I have a problem with cats at my house.
Well, you've got one that keeps pooping in your yard.
I have 3 that keep pooping in my yard, and they're teaming up on me. I'm not happy about it, but you know what? I've got a solution, and the solution is arriving very soon. I'm gonna borrow my friend's puppy and scare them off, and then I'm gonna try and get my own puppy.
That's what you need. That's what you need.
Exactly what I need.
I know you've got a lot of work to do in the studio. Thank you so much for taking the time. The new album, Dreamland, is fantastic. We're loving all the tracks on it. Congratulations.
Oh, thanks so much. I'm really glad you like it. It means a lot, man. Thank you.
And stay well and come see us in Portland, Oregon when you can.
We already have plans to come, actually. I know the date and I know the place. I can't tell you now, but I will see you there.
Awesome. Dave Bayley, thank you so much. Stay well.
You too. Thanks so much.